Well, as I mentioned earlier, Daresbury is known for its science park, and that's where we've come to. It's made up of lots of businesses, all requiring highly skilled workers. But that's something that a lot of companies say they can't get enough of. So the government is reforming the education system. Free schools. They're a little like academies, state schools, but with greater independence. The only difference with free schools is that they can be set up by parents or any other group. But teaching unions are warning that they could take money away from established state schools. Elaine Dunkley reports.
For Rachel and Lewis, it's the start of a new school day. For their parents, the end of a battle to get a new free school approved in Warrington. The local authority-run secondary school is closing next year, so this family and an army of parents decided to start their own.
I'd heard about free schools, and I didn't really understand what they were, but the very idea that as a normal, ordinary person, that I can actually make a difference and improve the education for my kids and the kids that follow. That really empowered me, and that gave me the drive to say, right, well, OK, I'm not happy with the situation in my area. I want to make a difference.
Free schools are funded by the taxpayer, subject to Ofsted inspections and free to attend. But unlike state schools, they're not run by local authorities. Parents, teachers, charities and businesses can now set up their own schools and have more influence on what's taught in the classroom.
That many children in this area that need a school on the doorstep. I think it's vitally important.
My children have always gone to here, I went to here, and I wanted them to move up to Woolston as a whole school group. Whereas now everybody's just getting split up and going everywhere.
The idea of free schools comes from Sweden. David Cameron believes the country that gave us ABBA, flat pack furniture and Volvos have got it right when it comes to education. But not everyone agrees.
Free schools isn't the way that we would have gone about improving schools. We had the Academies programme, we have City of Liverpool, we had lots of other ways of giving support to all schools. My worry is that the Conservative government's approach is focusing on a very small number of schools. I want to focus on the needs of children in all schools, whether they're academies, free schools, or the schools that most children go to, community schools.
The Maharishi School in Skelmersdale is one of 2 free schools in the northwest. On the curriculum, English, maths and meditation. It was a fee-paying private school, but now receives state funding so pupils can go free of charge.
Standards which we applied as a private school are being applied in exactly the same way as a free school. And that was a key for us, that transcendental meditation, a few minutes of meditation in the morning, a few minutes in the afternoon, we were insisting that that had to form part of the curriculum. And the government has accepted the hundreds of scientific studies showing the effectiveness of this system of education.
Do you think we'll see more free schools in the northwest?
I would imagine so, because what the free school proposals do is they ensure the standards of education are going to be there, which is obviously crucial for the Department for Education. But they allow for diversity and they also insist upon inclusion.
Dr. Cassell's prediction could well be correct. 6 more free schools have been approved in the northwest and are due to open in 2012.
Well, we've now come inside the Daresbury Innovation and Science Campus, and to discuss the issue of free schools I'm joined by the Conservative MP for Weaver Vale, Graham Evans, and Avis Gilmore of the National Union of Teachers. Now, Graham, the Coalition is basing their model of free schools on the Swedish version. But am I correct in thinking that even the Swedes have said, don't follow our example?
Well, I've not heard that. I've only heard good reports regarding the Swedish model.
Well, I think that their actual education minister has said that actually it hasn't worked particularly well in Sweden and that it wouldn't work over here.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Time will tell, but we are cracking on with the Swedish model, and we do have some success. The Labour Party started off with the Academy programme, and we're taking Labour's academies and taking it a step further.
And Avis Gilmore, is this a step too far then, would you say?
Oh, absolutely, and you are quite right. The Swedish Minister for Education has publicly advised the government not to go ahead with the free school system. It's been proven not to raise attainment and in Sweden, and it has produced quite a lot of segregation within the communities.
But it is, I'm sure the coalition would say, that it's going to provide more choice for parents and children, and that has to be a good thing.
I'm not so sure if parents get any choice at all. And you take the example of where we are here, where we've got a school planned for closure because of falling rolls, because there aren't enough pupils, and yet a free school on the same site has been authorised. And it's clear from parents' campaigns that they wanted the original school to stay open.
So the coalition is going to be putting more money into free schools?
Well, yes, it comes from the community, though. It comes from parents. In this case, it comes from parents. It could come from businesses. It could come from charities.
Well, the money is coming from the parents. The money's not. The money's coming from the state.
Well, it is that they are free schools. They are state schools, independent state schools.
But could that money not be better served in that local state school that is already there?
Well, this is the localism in action. If that is the case, if that money can be invested in a local school, that's fine. But in the area that we're in, that. The local parents feel that the provision isn't good enough, and it is about parent choice, wanting the best for their children with good quality education, good standards of discipline, and unfortunately too many parents feel the need to send their children elsewhere.
Well, if we take the example of the school in Skelmersdale, which is in our report, that was previously a fee-paying school. Those parents now those fees as it's being turned into a free school, so it's wonderful for them.
Well, it'll be a free school for 850 pupils, and that'll be open.
But how do you justify a private school that was fee-paying now becoming a state-funded school?
The fact of the matter is, children currently going to primary schools just a mile down the road, 60% free school meals, will have access to this free school. It will allow those children to have access to very, very high standards of education, science, technology and sports that will enable them to have access to good job prospects.
Well, let me just bring Avis in. What's wrong with that?
Those children have access to a good school now, and if the government want to put additional money into that school or want to encourage businesses to put money into that school, they can do it now. There's no need to close a school to reopen another one and take money out of the education system.
Well, we're not closing schools. This is an additional school giving parents that choice. And as I say, some of my poorest constituents just down the road from here will have access to that very, very high education. We've been failing for a generation. What this country needs is engineers, it needs scientists, it needs entrepreneurs. This sort of campus gives access to pupils from the poorest backgrounds to that sort of opportunity which has been failed.
OK, well, Avis Gilmore and Graham Evans, thank you very much for joining us today. And that's it for this week. Join us next Sunday. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch, you can contact me directly, annabelle.tiffin@bbc.co.uk. Now it's back to London.